Welcome to the Victorious POD podcast with your hosts, Jack Vickers and Tyler Herman.
What up, Pod Squad? Welcome back to another long-awaited edition of the Victorious POD. We took a little bye week, so just like everybody else apparently this week, for teams-wise, we were on bye last week. But we're back now to discuss some Week 7 stuff. Lots of injuries. We're not even halfway through the season, and everybody's already hurt. And we're going to be getting back into another exciting draft, this time with some best duos, whatever that might mean. But first, I want to bring in my co-host, as always, Tyler. We will get to the nitty-gritty, intense question in a second, but name one cool thing that you did this week. Not everybody else, not the whole family, just like one thing that's going on in your life or the world.
I didn't do anything important this week at all.
Perfect. Did you watch a cool show? Did you
Nope.
add a new song to the playlist? Did you have a good walk out in the nice weather?
No, I've since the last time we were on here though, somebody got really, really old.
That was the real reason why we took a bye week, because I think I might have died even 3 days later trying to do the episode on Tuesday. Because
For those that don't know, Jack is now made it over the hill. He's officially the Crypt Keeper. He turned.
All the wrinkles are
he's got a 3 in his age now, and it's at the beginning. So now he can go cry himself to sleep.
I got 10 whole year, or 9.5, 9 3/4, 99% years of having a 3 now. I got to get used to that. It's like when the year changes and you write 2022 forever. Now I'm just going to be like, I'm 20. Nope, no, I'm not.
So, nope. I have to start with 3s now, unfortunately. Now everything hurts.
Surprisingly, did not get as rough as I thought I would the night of, but it was rough the next day. So it's
facts.
It's one of those things where like people I don't think realized I was at the point I was, and then the next day when people are like, "Yeah, so when you did this and this," and I was like,
what?
News to me. I don't remember this entire conversation. Apparently,
it was fun until it wasn't.
In other news, I got Jordan all excited to watch One Tree Hill, one specific episode we had talked about 4.5 hours earlier in the night. I had the wherewithal to be like, here's my remote, here's how to get to my streaming thing, this exact episode search, set it down, left the room, and didn't tell Jordan anything. So, yeah.
It was fabulous. I was already asleep.
It was blacking out without the like sloppiness that usually comes with blacking out. So a very weird situation, but I digress. So
it was fun.
The one random super exciting thing for me, we don't really do a whole lot, but I've been watching movies lately. I have never seen the Scream movies like straight through. It just had never come up, and I know you're not a big horror movie guy, but I was like, you know what, I am, and it's a Halloween season. I'm gonna start checking these out because I've heard a lot of like, obviously they're classics. I've heard a lot of like cool takes about them having like twists and turns and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna binge them all. So we like started on Monday, and we are now on to Scream 5. Christine's been watching all of it with me. They are crazy good. Like they basically make fun. I'm telling everybody who already knows because most people have seen Scream, but they make fun of horror movies and like all the cliche tropes and stuff. And also, I've like almost not guessed every single time who the killer ends up being because it takes you a ton of like twists and turns of making you think one or another. So loving it. We're working on 5 and 6. Anyways,
fantastic.
Getting into the groundbreaking question as always. If you had to go without one, would you rather have no dryer so you can wash your clothes, but you got to go old school, and a clothespin, like line them up in your backyard to dry, or would you rather have no dishwasher? So a little bit less time consuming, but you're doing it a lot more often, probably washing everything by hand. This assumes you're doing it. It's not like I don't need a dishwasher.
I was gonna say this one's good because Katie does the laundry and I do the dishes. So
I do both of those, so that's why this came up.
Yeah, I would certainly go. I'm gonna go without a dishwasher, and simply because with kids' clothes, it is so often. It is so often. I mean, it's twice a week, 3 times a week that they just go through so many clothes. So I'm 100% going without the dishwasher. Like it gets full. I hand wash whatever's left in there anyway, and I had to do it in college. And Jordan can attest since he lived with me. We both hate the dishes. The amount that we let pile up is unspeakable. But we did it, so it was really bad. So I will go without the dishwasher.
I don't know if this is a good sign or not, but I genuinely think if I didn't have a dishwasher, I would probably be more on top of my dishes. Like I think I would just do them more. Because right now
You would think. You would think.
I didn't have my
I
college
played the
days.
experiment. I was wrong. That was not the case. I was way
Currently,
worse.
I
I was
feel like
like, I
I'll
don't
look
want to
at
do
the
this.
I feel like I'll look at the sink and I'll be like, that's not quite a dishwasher load. And then I go to load it later and it's like 2.5 worth.
Yeah.
So I'm like incorrect. But now I'm like, ooh, I need to wash them because I need a sink back or whatever. I don't know. I think I probably go that way too. If it was strictly just me and not kids' clothes, like you said, I
Yes.
think I'd be okay with like the clothesline washer. If this scenario is just me living in a college dorm solo, give me the no dryer and I'll just figure it out and stuff will hang on chairs or I'll actually do the clothesline. I think I could make that work. So it's just me. I'll do the no dryer and see what happens.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we got that one out of the way. We finally disagree on one of the questions, kind of. So moving into stuff, we'll keep things pretty quick because I know we kind of got to like get through 2 weeks here. But fan interaction stuff, I'll leave all the links below. But Discord, hop in there and check things out with us. YouTube, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. We're going to get back into the shorts. Probably not a whole lot in this weekend just because Tyler and I are both going to be busy separately. But coming into next week, we'll try to toss some out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Instagram, Twitter, all that exciting stuff. So NFL news-wise, I will briefly cover Week 5 for the Vikings because we're doing our 60-second synopsis, but I'm not spending 60 seconds on a 2 weeks ago game that we all knew we were going to lose anyway. So, 27-20 to the Chiefs, we lost. Surprisingly by one score. I expected it to be much more. So the fact that we even kept it close, I know we had 2 chances to tie it in the final 5 minutes of the game and just couldn't seal the deal. They have an underrated defense every year, but I was surprised we were close. Did not pay out. We lost JJ for going to IR, so that was about the low light of the game. And then once again, not bad on turnovers, but with one. But we are now the NFL leading with 12 turnovers after Josh Oliver fumbled. In addition to that, we continue to have poor game management with timeouts used when we didn't need to, a challenge that was very clear. I even saw it on the first replay and was like, nope, don't do that. And then we got a delayed game on the 4th down to end the game. So that was very, very helpful. Sums up our season so far. So I'll let Tyler cover the other 30-odd seconds for Week 6's results.
Yeah, Week 6 was pretty ugly. We won. We beat the Bears 19-13. The definition of everybody was mediocre all the way through. Kirk 181 and 1 touchdown, no turnovers. Mattinson 18 for 44, Hawk 6 for 50, 4 for 48. Like, if you could come up with a more mediocre line, let me know. But that's about as middle of the road as it gets. It's got our defensive touchdown, which is pretty much the sealer for this one. The definition of we did just enough. And I'm going to go with yay, we only had 1 turnover this game. So it was ugly. We'll see what happens this week, Monday night. 49ers, we got them at home. We're +7 right now, and that's with pending news with Debo potentially being out and CMC potentially being out. So that might drop if those guys are ruled out, but I'm still not betting on us.
I can't wait for Ayuk and whoever their second receiver, and then Elijah Mitchell just to go off. Like their second string is better than us, so
it's gonna be bad.
It's not gonna be pretty. Really quick on
their
the
defense
Bears
is gonna destroy us.
Yeah. On the Bears game, I don't know how many other Vikings fans feel this way. It's probably not super spicy, but based on how our season's been going, I would be lying if I said I wasn't pulling for us to lose that game. It was just not necessary.
We don't need it.
Our 2 wins have both been against some of the bottom teams, the Bears and the Panthers, and we barely beat them. So I was texting a couple of my buddies where I was like, best case scenario of this game, we lose because we don't need it. And we also kind of like shift up with the Bears in draft order standing. Second best case scenario, if we do win, please let it be a blowout to at least show that we're better. Worst case is if we win by this much, and that's what happened. It's just like, not only do we shoot ourselves in the foot for a draft position, but we also like don't prove anything by beating a team barely that we should blow out. So
we're gonna end up with like the 12th pick, and it's just gonna be useless.
I was like, I can't wait to be 7 and 8 again, or 8 and 9 is what it would be. 8 and 9, 7 and 10, and get that like 12 to 15 sweet spot that we always get, and then we'll trade back down to like 30 and get somebody we don't need anyway. So just trade up, get a top 10 pick, and then use something to bump up into the top 5 over teams that like don't need a quarterback. That's
for sure.
Well, anyways. I get on my soapbox. Going with the NFL Pick'em, we do have 2 weeks to recap, so I'll rattle off what the 4 picks for everybody were in the standings wise this current week, and then Tyler will talk about coming up for Week 7. So Nate continues to stay in the lead at 11-1. Nate and Nick and myself and Tyler, the top 4 teams, all went 2-0 this past week, but then previously Nick and Nate both went 2-0. So Nate going 4-0 the last 2 with the Jets and Detroit, and then this last week with the Raiders and the Rams. Nick stays at 10-2 with Detroit and the Jets also, and then the Raiders, but Buffalo. So one difference. I had the Jets right. I had the Packers wrong. I had Raiders and Rams. We'll just not even worry about the teams we picked. Tyler had 9-3, so Tyler's also tied with me for 3rd place. We're 2 games out. Mac is in sole possession of 5th at 8-4. Connor and Foster both tied at 7-5, and then Joe continuing to stay at 500. He's kind of just alternating every week, so 6-6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for week 7, I didn't like a whole lot out there, so I'm going to go with Green Bay over Denver. I don't love it, even though it's in Denver, but Denver's just looks so bad, so I had to take that one. And then spicier one, I'm going to go with the Giants over the Commanders. I don't know that I see it happening, but for me, I have to pick the Giants eventually, and the rest of the schedule just looked pretty brutal. So banking on Daniel Jones playing, looks like Saquon's going to be healthy, so those are going to be my 2. Jack looks like he's going with the Browns over Indy, and also the Giants over Washington. So I like that. Nate going Green Bay over Denver, Cleveland over Indy. Connor going Cleveland over Indy, Chicago over the Raiders. Joe going Green Bay over Denver. Sam Fran over Minnesota. Still waiting on Foster's. Nick's going to go Rams over Steelers and 49ers over Minnesota. Mac is going to go tried to go Saints over Jags. That didn't go well for him. So already a fun 0-1 on the week. And then Raiders over the Bears.
Yeah, we were both hoping to use the Saints over the Jags too, just assuming Trevor Lawrence was out and then he played. So
yeah,
the Giants over Washington is kind of a forced pick. But honestly, there's a lot of the other good teams are playing top teams like the Chiefs, Chargers, and the Lions, Ravens. I don't want to risk those. And then the other ones are just such easy layups. I'm trying to save those teams. So of all the teams I hadn't already used, I would love to be using the Packers over the Broncos this week, but I picked the Packers and the Broncos. So you're starting to find as we get into almost like halfway, we're starting to run out of I can't pick that team now. Fuck, what do I do? So that plus 5 weeks is going to make this interesting. Minnesota sports side, we both had a rough week 5. We both only had 8 right, but that was actually 1 point off the lead on the week. The top team only had 9 correct, so it was rough for everybody. And then week 6 here, Tyler had 12, I had 11, much better, back to our top ends of what we have had. So Tyler gains 1 more point on me. He is at 63, which is tied for 2nd place. I'm in sole possession of 7th at 61, so 7th and 2nd separated by 2 whole points, so it's very, very close at the top. The leader is at 65. He got the Jags over New Orleans right on Thursday, and we were both silly because we were both busy and forgot to flip it, so we both lost that one, which hurt. Week 7, I'll rattle them off really quick. Luckily, again, a lot of buys. This is only 3 lines of font and text for me, so I've got Bucks over Falcons, Bills over Patriots, Browns over Colts, Ravens over Lions, Raiders over Bears, Commanders over Giants, Seahawks over Cardinals, Rams over Steelers, Packers over Broncos, Chiefs over Chargers, Dolphins over Eagles, and 49ers over Vikings.
Yeah,
probably differences this far.
I think the only difference I'm taking, I think I'm going to take the Eagles. I don't like it, but I just wanted to differentiate somewhere. And I don't remember. I might have taken the Falcons over the Bucks in that interdivision, but I can't remember for sure. So those would be the only 2, but the rest of them are pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the Dolphins over Philly is technically a 44% underdog.
Oh, so is it? Okay.
It's a little spicy.
I guess it makes sense.
Not really. They're 2 good teams.
Philly's at home, I think.
Yeah, I've just stood by this all year where Philly doesn't look like the legit team they did last year, and I feel like the Dolphins have that potential. So we'll see.
Which I agree.
That's why
I was surprised it's only 44%. That's why I was I thought they might be not necessarily favorite, but be majority picked with how good they've looked and how bad the Eagles have looked.
It seems like that's more of just a casual fan being well, the Eagles made the Super Bowl, so they're good. And it's I just think the Dolphins are maybe somehow still underrated despite their high power. If they're ahead, it's tough to catch up to them, and if they're behind, they can come back at any time, like we saw last week. So, the only other spicy one is I'm going Ravens over Detroit, simply, and they're at 37%. So that's lower than I would have expected. Detroit's obviously doing great so far, but Goff's on the road. I think the Ravens have been looking better, and their defense is good. Detroit's missing Montgomery. They're probably going to be missing Craig Reynolds. Gibbs is probably going to get his first look as the main guy. So it's just going to be I don't think it's what they're going to be feeling comfortable with. So I'm kind of trying to steal a point here with Baltimore. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think so too. And Ravens so good at controlling the clock. Obviously, the run game, the number one in NFL in rushing yards, so they just control the clock so much. And the Lions, if they can't put it together against the Ravens, who's I think like the second best pass defense in the NFL, they throw that stops the clock and gives it to the Ravens to hold on to the ball. So Goff is either going to throw the ball 40 times because they're going to be behind, or he's only going to get to throw it 18 times because the Ravens are just going to hold on to the ball. So I like it.
Yeah. He's just got such crazy splits home on the road, so I'm just kind of basing
True.
it off of that. So,
Which
and
is also
hoping
true.
most people pick Detroit because they are loving them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Moving into general fantasy, we have one of our favorite segments here.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
Swimming
I don't know
upstream.
if it's my favorite anymore. I've been brutal the last couple of weeks because I keep going against my gut.
I that's the thing is I've technically won the last few weeks, but it's been like a couple points every time, or it's been a bad week for me too. So we're not doing great. There's been a lot of ugly choices to start the year. So swimming upstream, of course, those of you that know, we're picking 50% or under owned people this year, and with a lot of quarterback injuries, the 50% and under owned is becoming less and less options. So that's not ideal. For the year so far, I am at 94.6 after week 5 of CJ Stroud with 14 points and week 6 of Stafford with 13 points. Technically, I am up to QB 14. So
14,
yeah, up one spot. I'm 7.5, 7.8 points off QB 12. So it really doesn't mean much. It's still very, very like congested there. One good week would pop me up into the QB 1 range, which is both of our goals. So, and then Tyler's at 84.7, so literally like 10 points just below me, but that still drops him to QB 18, which just, again, they're all right there. He's 17.7 points off of QB 12 after Dobbs, which we both wanted, versus Cincinnati in week 5. He only had 8.7. And then week 6, he went Baker, who got 6.8. So both weeks, I think my guy played earlier, and I was like, well, congrats, you're going to have a much better week. And then his guy also did bad. So it's been rough. So
Sam Howell is going to be the new Jared Goff this year, is what it seems like. He's got a little bit of that rushing floor, and I said it both weeks now that I'm like, hey, I'm going to go with him, but I don't want to play him on Thursday night, or I was going to go with him, but he was playing in the early window, and I just didn't like it, blah blah blah, and he put up 25.5 and then 18.5. So I'm like, damn it! Like, so guess what, Howell? This is your time to shine. Show me. You're playing the Giants. I'm 100% going to screw Washington. So hedge my bet here. I'm either getting my pick'em right, or Sam Howell's going to do well and get me here. So I'm going to hedge my bet.
I care more about the pick'em, but I would love to not do terrible at swimming upstream. So we'll see.
Yeah, agreed.
Mine is kind of a contingency one. Let me tell you, other than this is like the first week where I talked about this last year. It happened all the time where the weeks that there was only one clear option, Tyler somehow fell on the first pick. And this is one of those weeks where I looked at everybody else and I hate them all. They're just bad. My only hope is Daniel Jones playing against Washington, because I think just the rushing baseline will save me. And I'm not even expecting like 18. I just genuinely think every other streaming option is going to get like 14 or below. So I'm just hoping Daniel Jones plays. If he doesn't, I will lock in my backup now for injury-wise, and I'm going with Baker versus Atlanta because they're the only defense that doesn't quite scare me. And I think Baker's kind of that like no ceiling but safe 12 to 14. So Daniel Jones hopefully for the rushing, but we will see. It's going to probably be a gross one. I could see how we'll get like 20 or so, which we'll talk about.
I hope so.
Let's see. We're not going to worry about predictions and stuff because we didn't really have any from the previous week. 3 things, because we're skipping all of the ship it or skip it with the gladiator. I have 3 fun facts for you, and I intentionally took them out of the notes so that you could actually react live to them, because all 3 of these are absurd to me.
Okay.
Number one of my guy picks of the year and the bold prediction of my dark horse MVP guy. It's working out. Tua is on pace for 5,315 yards and 40 touchdowns. He's currently first in yards per attempt, passer rating, highly accurate throw rate, and second in completed passes over expectation on deep throws. So not only like the yards and the touchdowns.
That's absurd.
He's accurate, and he's like, obviously we know he's going downfield. Like, so he's not just Inkin and Duncan and Tyreek and Waddle and Mostert are running it deep. He's yards per attempt and like deep pass throws. He's doing well. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I think the craziest thing about that is like 40 touchdowns isn't that insane. Like that's kind of, I mean, it's good, but next one on the list, Mostert. I mean, their running backs have been so good and they've scored so many touchdowns. They haven't needed him to score the touchdowns, but like the yardage is still crazy. But I mean, obviously, the Tua's looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole Dolphins in general.
To continue on the Dolphins hype train, Mostert has 11 touchdowns through 6 weeks. The Bengals, Saints, Falcons, and Raiders all have 10 touchdowns through 6 weeks, just to put that in context. As a team.
Okay, that's horrendous.
Yeah. As teams, Mostert is outscoring those 4 people. So
that was embarrassing.
I would say, obviously, it's not sustainable and like regression is happening, but also A-Chain's still out, and we've seen what this Dolphins offense can do. So he's the Jamal Williams of this year, where it's just
how do you not say he's got burst too? It's not like he is Jamal Williams. He's not 1 yard touchdowns, but guess what? If they're on the 1 yard line, he's getting the ball. So I mean, he's your guy for at least the next 3 weeks, and then I think they have a week 10 bye, and then A-Chan will be back. So, but I mean, you got 3 more weeks of production. Do you think?
That's
right.
Assuming
they said he's going to be ready.
No, Mostert's injury history. You're going to.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're talking about him getting 3 more good weeks. That's fair.
On the edge, week to week, going, please don't get it. I've drafted Mostert, I think 3 out of the last 4 years in our home league because I see the speed and I think he's talented. But every year it's just been injury, so I'm just like every week just praying to God when I see him get hit. So,
please don't blow a hammy.
Yeah. And then final one, I went from kind of like least to most crazy, but this one, Sam Laporta, rookie tight end sensation from the Lions. His rank among every rookie tight end, not this year, in the last 17 years. Target share, first. Yards per YPTPA, what is that? Yards per
target per attempt.
Target per attempt, yeah. Second of all tight ends, rookie tight ends in the 17 years. And route participation, fourth. Every rookie tight end ever, he's just breaking the mold of why it never ever works, and he's just doing it consistently in key categories. It's just
I mean, it helps obviously that Goff hucks the ball around a lot, but again, I mean, Laporta is fucking different. He is a dude when he's out there. The route participation is amazing. You don't see a lot of that from rookie tight ends. Look at Kincaid. I mean, again, obviously he had a predecessor with Dawson Knox there who was always going to play. But I mean, look at any of the other rookie tight ends. Michael Mayer took him until this last week to really break out. And so he wasn't playing. It just tends to be a bigger learning curve position. And Laporta's like, I got this, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm from Iowa. I know how this works. I learned from George Kittle. Like I'm okay. But yeah, the target share is incredible as well. So we'll see if that. I'm curious if that diminishes. I don't think it will with finally everybody healthy
Jameson
on the lines.
Really
I think Jamo's I think Jamo's so much more of a deep threat. It almost opens it up more for him. And I mean, obviously St. Brown in the slot and whatnot too, but he gets kind of those outers versus inners, and I think Laporta works better at kind of those seams, and St. Brown kind of works better under. So I mean, I think he's going to continue to be a stud. I mean, that was one of the predictions I had at the beginning. I'm like, he's going to finish as a top 2 or 3 tight end, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep, it's crazy. It's very like.
He's a monster.
That was my other one too. Like that was one of my bold predictions for the NFC North was him like making a statement and getting like 10 touchdowns or something. Literally the only thing that isn't coming is touchdowns, but it goes to show that like he is producing so well and like is already in that like top 3 tight end tier. So
for sure,
pretty crazy. All right, really quick for this week's Skip It or Ship It. I slimmed it down a little bit since we weren't covering all of last week's one. So again, if we agree on the same one, we'll just move on. We won't even really dive into it. But if we disagree, we can plead our cases. So I got 4 here for us. First one, this is more obvious, but is it time for the Vikings to start planning for 2024 with the JJ news being on IR? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, especially with Kirk on his last year, his deal as well, and JJ hurt, and they already have said pretty much like we're gonna like revisit him after 4 weeks. He's not gonna be ready to go after 4 weeks. They're like could be 6, could be 8, and they're certainly not gonna rush him back, especially when NFC North is pretty much already out of reach. Especially if we lose this week, the Lions are just look phenomenal and running away with it. So yeah, I'm with you. Not much else you can do there.
Do I think they will? No, we'll shoot for 500.
Agreed.
Like always, but I really think we should. That doesn't mean there's been tons of reports about them considering trading Danielle Hunter and they're fielding calls. I'm like, please don't do that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Number 2, the Bengals will come back and win the AFC North. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh,
I feel like I'm being spicy with it.
I know. I was like, I put this in there, and I originally thought yes, and I've kind of thought about it more, and I'm like, they're not far behind. They're one game back, and obviously they still have another game to play against the Ravens, maybe both games, because I don't think they played them yet. But yeah, so I mean, it's certainly possible, but again, I'm very curious to see if the Bengals can continue to put it together. Burrow has obviously looked like Burrow now the last couple of weeks, so it's 100% possible. And the Ravens haven't looked great, so I don't feel great about that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I just think that's big. My biggest thing is the Ravens have been trying to still adjust to this new offensive scheme, and it's not super comfortable. So I feel like that, plus the Bengals getting hot at the right second. I definitely think both make the playoffs, but I think the Bengals will figure things out now that things are working. So, number 3, will Mac Jones at any point this season completely get benched for the rest of the season? Whether it's next week, 5 weeks from now, like not just we're going to take him out because we're out of playoff contention, but straight up like you're getting benched. We're going to start a different quarterback this week, Zappy or what have you.
Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this one.
1, 2, 3.
I'm trying to think. I was like, again, I wouldn't be surprised because it has been so bad, and eventually you got to see what you have. But I'm like, is seeing what you have in Billy Zappi, whatever, Bailey Zappi. I'm like, Billy doesn't sound right. Yeah, and Bailey Zappi, is that what you want to see? You want to see what you have in Bailey Zappi? I don't know if that's like a, hey, let's turn to this guy. Maybe it is, and it completely could be. But I'm like, let Mac finish it out and figure something else out in the offseason.
Yeah, for me, I would see it being more of like you said, seeing what they have in him. Because last year when he filled in, he did really, really well. Like he had those like 3 or 4 game stretch where he was just lighting things up, and it was kind of like a Brock Purdy situation. So for me, it would be more of like it's not working. We've basically been I don't think they'll do it until they're eliminated, but they could easily be eliminated from playoff contention by like week 12. So I could see it being one of those where they're like, let's just see what we have in him, because Mac's not the answer next year.
No.
Is Zappy by any chance the answer? And they bench Mac to find that out so they can determine if they're going to draft a quarterback. That's I guess all I see. But I think it'll happen. I think he's looking so bad, and I think the rest of the team is looking so bad that there's
they are devoid of weapons. They are devoid of weapons. Losing Jacoby Myers hurt them way more than I thought it would. You know me. I've been a Jacoby Myers truther forever. Even on the Patriots, I'm like, this guy's good at football. The rest of these guys are not good at football. And obviously, he's showing that. And I'm like, it's absolutely crazy. So, he doesn't have a whole lot of help there.
Especially the fact that they were like, yeah, we'll just let him walk. We're fine. Like there was some announcer that made that comment that was like, who they could really use right now is somebody like a Jacoby Myers to come in. I'm like, yeah, well, here we are.
Yep.
All right. Last one. Kyle Pitts is officially back after back-to-back solid weeks. I figured this would be a good Tyler one because he's lost a lot of sleep over the Kyle Pitts stuff. So is he back to the point where it's finally clicking? You can start to believe in him. He's going to be getting used more like he should be. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I know it hurts. It hurts me. I know he's not.
It's good that he's going from like can't start him any week to like, okay, at least you have a chance and he's like better than a streamer. But no, you're going to have like this week or next week where he just gets 2. He gets 2 targets.
It turns out Arthur Smith is like, oh no, we threw the ball a lot and our team did well and we lost. So he's like, we're going to go back to running the ball 47 times and hopefully we win 17-14. That's just how he operates. In those games where they've run 70% of the time, they win. They win 20-14. They win 17-10. Like, and then they throw the ball all around, and now they're losing. So they're going to change their philosophy and go back to what was working. They're 3-3, but when they've had to pass the ball, they lose.
Right. Just use Bijan. That's all I'm asking.
It's weird, right?
All right. That's it for our Skip It or Ship It Gladiator points of the week. So we're going to get into our unique leagues real quickly. I know we got 2 weeks for each to cover, so we'll just kind of try to summarize them and get through these. But the Bomb Squads and Butt Cheeks one, where each of us have 3 teams, 30 total, because there's 10 people in the league. And you're drafting all winners or all losers. Tyler's teams, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Browns are 9-7. my teams, guess what? I went for losers. I have as many wins as Tyler, so it's not going well. I am at 500 with the goddamn Texans, Raiders, and Commanders. So current leaders, shoutouts to Garlic at 12-6. He's got a 1-game league, so we got a couple of people close with him there. And then the bottom team, Walters, is at 4-14, pretty easily with the Cardinals and Panthers and Falcons, I believe. So 3-game lead. Really, I'm the only one that's supposed to be able to catch him, and I'm not even the closest one to him. Somebody else is within 3 games,
True.
so it's not going well. Week 6, Tyler's teams went 2-1. My teams went 3-0. I went undefeated this week. I got a 3-0 week before I got an 0-3 week on the season, just for the record.
Brutal.
The Texans, Raiders, and Commanders all win. I bet you if you look that up, it's probably been like 5+ years since all 3 of them won on the same week. Like that's
probably.
Just, they've all been bad for so long. So
yeah.
Week 7, quick brief. The Texans are on bye, so thank God they can't win. The Raiders play the Bears, and the Commanders play the Giants. And I think this is the 3rd week in a row I'm saying this, but they're easily winnable games for my bad teams. So I don't know what my schedule I was looking at, but all my bad teams are playing worse teams. So
yeah, that's what happens. Welcome to the NFL scheduling. You do horrible last year, and you're like, okay, they're going to be bad again this year. Okay, yeah, but you're playing a last place schedule. So that makes it so much harder. And then same thing for division winners. That's why there's so much parity in the NFL, because that's how they do it. The top teams play the winners of other divisions, et cetera, beyond obviously your own interdivision. So that's how you get so much parity. It's because the best teams play each other, worst teams play each other. So naturally, those top teams are going to beat up on each other. Lower teams are going to at least float back to the middle, get a couple other wins. That's how you get 1 or 2 change in division winners every single year. So it's great. It's the right way to do it. It makes the NFL fun. That's why people enjoy it.
I have managed to not only have my entire record be 9-9, but all 3 of my teams are 3-3. Just for the record,
that is quality.
Perfectly
the
balanced.
Perfect balance. That's exactly what I did last year. Mine, I finished exactly 500, which is the exact opposite of what you're trying to do in this league.
Yep, there should be a 3rd winner for that.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler's teams play the Patriots, very winnable. The Chargers are playing the Chiefs, and the Browns are playing the Colts, very winnable. So you should probably go 2-1 again, conservatively.
Hopefully.
So that feels good.
Yeah, Chargers usually play Chiefs well. I mean, it's a division game.
True.
They usually split pretty much every year, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Is it at home for the Chiefs?
I don't think so, which is why I don't feel great. Sorry, at home for the Chiefs. I think it's at Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead, yeah, that's scary.
I think so.
All right, Guillotine, 18-team league. Bottom score dropped every week through 6 weeks. We're alive. So since you didn't see our episode last week, don't worry, we survived the bye week. Harb lost week 5, and then Foster lost week 6. I went the entire week thinking it was Jordan, and I talked to him yesterday, and I went, "Oh my God, you're alive!" So
yeah.
Top players that were cut in the 2 weeks combined: James Cook, Bijan, T.J. Hawkinson, Keenan Allen, Jalen Hurts, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, and Justin Jefferson. Shocker, the team that lost him to injury was out. So a lot of big names. Were there big and notable bids from the last couple of weeks? Yes, there were. And spoiler alert, I didn't buy anybody on that list we just listed. So Keenan Allen went for $259 to yours,
boy,
Tyler. Bijan went for $258. Hawkinson $147, also to Tyler. James Cook $117, and Sutton $91. That felt like a lot.
Yeah.
The rest felt good. Keenan and Bijan are expensive, but the rest felt good. So week 7, Justin Jefferson $225. I get it, but
I don't.
Man,
I don't.
You better hope that you survive the 4 to 6 weeks he's out. That's the thing. Is for me, I think I put out like 110, and I was like, if I get him, it's a steal. I haven't spent a lot of money yet.
Yeah.
If I don't get him, I'll buy him one of the next 6 weeks when whoever has him. He'll probably go up for sale another 4 times. So Jalen Hurts went for 200. That's a lot for a quarterback. Calvin Ridley 110. I hope whoever bought him started him last night.
I mean, you had to have.
Yeah,
it was brutal. 1 for 5.
Good. That makes me feel safer this week. Amari Cooper 101. That feels right. And then I just tossed it in there just because it was really cheap. Zach Evans for $32. I got him just because I think I've got Derrick Henry on bye this week. And I was like, ooh, I don't really have that many running backs beyond Mostert. So grabbed him with the chance that he might be the guy. I know they re-signed from the practice squad Darrell Henderson, and they don't really know because Sean McVay won't commit to who's going to be the guy. But for him to get 5 to 8 points would be pretty cool. The worst part, the only reason I put him in there, I drafted Zach Evans like the 3rd to last round in the Guillotine League. Kept him all season until this past week when they said Darren Waller questionable on Sunday night. And I go, fuck, I can't risk not having a 0 in my lineup. So I picked up Gerald Everett because he played Monday night, trying to be like the smart, like if he's out, I'll play him. I don't like miss out on the position. And I was like, who can I drop? The only one that hasn't done anything this year is Zach Evans. The next day, Kyron Williams out for multiple weeks. So I got him back, but I just burned $32 for no reason. So that was fun. I was like, what are the odds? Because I was going to be like, fuck you to everybody that I nailed that drafting him because I didn't believe in Cam Akers and he was like the 14th round in an 18-team league. But yeah, anyways, that's standard. So as far as updates quickly for our teams, I still kind of the same thing for me. I won't keep repeating specific players, but I really haven't had any close calls yet. So I'm sure it'll happen on a random down week, but I've been very lucky. I've still got like $850. Haven't really had to buy many. Just kind of chilling. I think I have the most points average week to week too. So feeling good.
Yeah, I was taking scoring 70. So as you heard, I went out and said, hey, I need receivers. All my running backs are great, but I needed receivers. So I got myself a receiver and got myself a tight end. So 2 of the top guys, and now I can just chill. And I think I scored the second most points last week. So I was like, now I don't have to spend any money for a good long time, and I feel really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to play that game of just holding out and waiting so that some other people can drop and I can be the bully at the end of the season. But you can lose on any given week. This might be the one. This is the first time I have like a key player on bye with Henry, so we'll see. And then lastly, best ball. It's stupid because my team, I already have like 3 guys out for the year. Jonathan Taylor's just coming back but not being used. I lost this week, so I'm 2-4. Tyler won, so he's 3-3. Neither of us are really gonna run away with the league this year. I don't think. But, I didn't have any other like big surprises or disappointments. Everybody was just kind of mediocre in that like 5 to 10 range and a 15-pointer for a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean I'm up to 3-3 right now, but it's been ugly. I know from what I talked about, I was like, I played pretty much the high scorers, but finally I got to be the high scorer. I'm really just being carried by my wide receivers. So, I mean, once again, Diggs, St. Brown, Godwin, Jacoby carried me. So if I didn't have them, I would be bad.
Yeah, it sounds about right, but it's getting the job done. That's why best ball is fun and goofy.
Yeah, I'm technically in 6. We're still in the playoffs. I'll take it.
I'm not that far out. All right, maybe.
Nope.
Jonathan Taylor, help me please. DFS League, so the weekly challenge with scores added up that we're running for the pod, sponsored by the podcast. Lots of money here. We are through 6 weeks, so we have the top 3 scores of the week. We had Tyler at 168.64, Ryan with 161.94, and Glick with 161.26. So very, very close. I think the top like 8 were within 20 points or something. It was a very low scoring week overall. So I mean, it's really good separation, but it's very up and down. It's cool to see because I mean, we all have kind of some similar people or some overlap and stuff, but it's cool that like the week is kind of trending. Nobody's just winning by like 100 points or something crazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if we go back to week 5, who was it? I can't remember, Jack.
It's winning with
So who was it like 3 weeks ago? I can't remember who won it.
It was
me. That's right. Who was it last week? Or 2 weeks ago? With like 205. Oh, it was me. And which one did you just read for this last week? Oh yeah, it was me. Oh yeah, we go back to back. Oh yeah, then we do another and we're back to back. Okay, yeah. I ruined it now, but that's a 3-peat. I will take it. I'm good for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 2 of the last 3 weeks, I was in first through the early games and like halfway into the mid games, and then just watched like. God damn it. So I even was watching it and I was like, if I can just make up like 15 points from Tyler this week, that'd be great. And then I was like, I'll make up negative 20. Cool. So I've been tracking it on a Google Excel sheet week to week, adding everybody's up. So Tyler stays in first. He's broken 1,000. I stay in second somehow. I have somehow held on to second despite terrible one. I was out to an early lead and then it's just been rough. I'm at 895 and Ryan is right behind me at 893. He is back into the top 5 after dropping out. Jordan is at 879, up 1 spot from 5th to 4th. Brandon is at 866, down from 3rd to 5th. And then we have, once again, it's been very, very close with all the next couple teams. Ben, Glick, and Nick are all within 10 points. So I'll keep running through the top 5 and see how we spread out as the season goes along or if anybody catches Tyler. So
fabulous.
We will discuss some of my favorite picks of the week in the betting corner in a little bit. But for now, Tyler's going to move into the matchup recap.
Perfect. We're just going to go through Victoria's Secret first. So I'm really just going to run through the last couple weeks and just who won each of the weeks. So week 6, I beat Alex, Jordan over Josh, Jay over Ryan, Walters over Ben, Foster over Cassie. So over the last 2 weeks, I've been 4-0. Jack's been 2-2. So your boy moved back up to first place. Jack moved back into the playoffs, so up to 5th. So I'm on top at 9-3 with Foster. Alex is at 8-2, I think is what that is. And then Ben, Jack, and Glick round out the actual playoff teams at 7-5, and then Josh is also at 7-5, but just losing that points for tiebreaker. In dynasty leagues, in the 2 we've got, I had a brutal week 5 in the first dynasty league. I activated Anthony Richardson and Achan off the taxi, put him in. I'm like, perfect, I can make a run at this. And then they both proceeded to go on the IR. And so that was really brutal. Oh yeah, and James Conner as well. So that was super duper fun. But then I won in week 6, so 3-3. So I'm still in the playoff hunt. I think I'm in 6 right now. Taco, I'm truly just punting. So I continue the tanking run. Jack in DFB won week 5, lost week 6, 4-2. So he's right up there. Finally lost in Taco in week 5, and in a brutal fashion, put up 125 to Ben's 138. So Jack is continuing to dominate there, but then back to his winning ways in week 6. So sticking at 5-1 right now. So he's dominating as we all expected.
Unfortunately, I'm not even the top team because
you aren't, which is kind of impressive. Jordan's doing crazy, yeah.
What was also bizarre, which was another one of those I didn't think would ever happen on the season, but week 5 when I lost, Mac also lost, and so both of us it was bananas. But
you guys did like the 49ers and Eagles.
Yeah, we just get those.
Like we're done with the undefeateds. 72 Dolphins are cheersing.
And I don't have to face Mac, or I think I faced Mac like week 8 or 9, so it's close. But then I don't face Jordan until 13, so it'll be interesting to see how those teams do. All right, we're not going to worry about ad or drop it's like it's hot because obviously we're way past waivers. But as far as big money ads from the previous week, we had Walters add Jared Goff for $5, very nice, and then added Kyler for $20 also. Savvy pickup getting Kyler because I think this is the week everybody's going to start considering him, and then he got activated a day later. But I don't think he needed to spend 20. I don't think people were out there dropping 17, 18. So 3 quarterbacks in the league or on your team in the league. What a dumb idea. I don't know who would ever do that. So I still remember that. It was my first year ever, and I had Andrew Luck and Ben Roethlisberger. I'm pretty sure Tony Romo. So I never forget that. Now I don't even carry more than one. Here we are.
Yep.
Look at me now, Mom. Ryan added Royce Freeman for $6, and then Jordan Mason for $0. I thought that was a very sneaky one. I liked it.
Yes, it was.
And then Jordan adding Zach Evans, who I talked about earlier, for 10. Solid there. I tried to get him for 6, and I couldn't do it. And then Craig Reynolds for 8, which was nice. It sounds like Gibbs is pretty much activated and going to be full without any restrictions. So not as nice, but Craig Reynolds has a chance to have the Montgomery role. So we will see there. And then Foster, Elijah Mitchell for $4. He should have gone for more. I don't know why I didn't spend more than that. But that's solid if CMC misses this week or the next. And then I grabbed Michael Mayer for $1 just to kind of stick on the bench because my tight end situation has been abysmal to the point where I have dropped Zach Ertz and I am starting Jonnu Smith this week. So here we are. Michael Mayer shot up in routes run and percentage and snaps. So hoping he has more of an upside swing and I can just deal with it for a week or two, but we'll see. Really quickly, we have to shout this one out because Jordan gets sad when we don't talk about his trades, but in the Dynasty, in the Victoria's Secret League, Jordan sent Cole Kmet and Drake London to Jay for TJ Hawkinson and Jaden Reed. Jordan called me, we were talking about other stuff, but he called me like right after this trade had gone through and we were chit-chatting about it, just giving my wrong opinion and stuff. So I will let you go first and say what you think on this trade.
Yeah, I honestly haven't had a chance to dive into it too much. I'm trying to remember Jordan's team contextually. I was literally driving home from softball and I was like, commissioner approve. So I haven't looked at it too much. Jay's been trying to get rid of Hawkinson so long to everybody he could possibly think of. So I'm trying to think. So Jordan got Hawkinson and Reed, right? So I think it rounds out his team really well. I know his receivers were already ridiculous, and his running backs they were really just waiting to come back because he had Jonathan Taylor and Breece Hall. So I think just thinking through high level of what his team looks like, getting now a stud tight end like Hawkinson really is going to have him continue to make a run. I would have to look deeper into it for Jay's team to see getting Drake and Kmet. Kmet, I think, is no better than a lot of other dart throw tight ends. I mean, I know he's had a couple good games, but I don't trust Justin Fields that much, and obviously now he's hurt, so I really don't trust him. And I don't know that Drake London is certainly the most trustable piece besides Bijan of that Atlanta offense, but there's going to be still some weeks where he just disappears.
Yep, totally agree. I think for me, Jordan's tight end situation was abysmal as well, and so I think giving up a guy who's up, like it was one of his flexes in Drake London, who was questionable. I'm like, I feel like the consistency of Hawkinson is going to be more than Drake having a good week and then 2 bad weeks and then a good week. So you kind of upgraded consistency while also getting a position upgrade, and you can kind of figure out that last flex spot. So I like it there. If it was just those two straight up, and when we were talking, Jordan just only mentioned Hawkinson plus Drake London. So then when I saw it go through, and I was like, oh, you also turned whoever the heck he gave up into
Kmet.
Yeah, he turned Kmet
into Jaden Reed.
That's a win too. Like it's a depth piece, but Jaden Reed has way more upside than Kmet.
Upside.
You're not Kmet anyways because you just got Hawk. So for that reason, I like it more. But I still think it helps Jay as well because he needed more help receiving / flex. So I don't hate it for both teams. It's a rare situation where I think it makes both better. But I think Jordan won the trade where when he got Jaden Reed thrown in, where it would have been more split dead even with London for Hawk. So that's my 2 cents.
Sure.
Nextly is a word. Yeah.
Nextly.
Guys,
it's like 11 o'clock. It's late.
We're both very tired. We both wake up a lot in the middle of the night. So going into notable injuries, we have a lot over the last 2 weeks, unfortunately, with like key players. But James Conner, knee, went to the IR. Tank Dell, concussion. He's still questionable. Anthony Richardson, AC joint sprain. We thought it was multiple weeks. He had surgery, and he's now out for the year. So cool. Justin Jefferson, hamstring, IR for God knows how long. Daniel Jones, neck injury, still questionable. CMC, oblique injury, questionable. Debo, shoulder injury. He didn't practice as of today. So
neither did CMC.
Yeah, yikes. Justin Fields, toe, he is also questionable. Roshan Johnson with a concussion. He didn't practice today either. Deshaun Watson, shoulder. He was limited at practice, but there sounds like he thinks he's going to be able to give it a go. Saquon, ankle. He was limited. Kyron Williams with an ankle. He's out, at least this week, if not multiple. DK Metcalf, ribs. He was sidelined out at practice today. Aaron Jones, hamstring, is still limited. He's practicing, but in a limited fashion, and that's just hanging on like they do. Devon Achane, knee, IR. They said only 4, but then there were some reports also that said it could easily be a longer absence, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens there, if they rush him back or if they need him. And then Devonta Smith kind of cropped up in the middle of the week with a hamstring, and he's been limited as well. So lots of injuries. Make sure you're following if you've got any of those players for Sunday morning updates. Have some pivot options, please. And then we make it into
Monty. Yeah, Monty got ruled out as well today.
And Monty.
That just happened today, though.
Yeah, that's another.
I thought he was going to be okay, but apparently not.
This would be the true test where if they just turns out if they hate Gibbs because this is the chance to just let him have the work. Yeah. But if you turn around,
I don't know that they will. I think they like Craig Reynolds enough to not necessarily
on the Amon-Ra touchdown.
No.
He came from like across the field, and Amon-Ra was going to get stopped at like the 15.
Oh,
like,
I did see that.
He lit a dude up. It was so cool. Anyways,
cool.
I was big on Craig Reynolds in the Hard Knocks season a year ago, so I love seeing him do things. Moving into the betting corner, Tyler's got bets of the week.
Fabulous. It's Friday. Props already came out. I got a little bit more for you guys. We can have a little bit of fun. No, we're not doing this every Friday because it's very late in the week and it's less fun. But week 5, I did brutal, and thankfully week 6, I did incredibly well. So week 5, I went to 2-4, so down 2.28 units, which really isn't all that bad in the grand scheme of things. But week 6 bounced back in a big way. Went 6-1, so at plus 5.78 units on the week. So overall 16-12. I'm up 5.56 units on the year. So put it into context because people love to see units. Essentially, that's just how much you bet per, what amount of money you bet per. So say your money bags and you put $100 on each of these bets. More realistically, like $25 or something like that. But Even 25 is a good amount.
Big penny pincher,
but
so I don't know.
Yeah, but if you just blindly bet all of the bets I've done so far at $25 a bet, you'd be up $140 so far this year. If you bet $100, you'd be up $556. So yeah, it's been good so far, but this is how it goes: ebbs and flows. You're going to lose 3 units in a week. You're going to win 5 in a week. You're just trying to protect those. You don't have to go too insane. 7 bets is a lot in a week. I don't usually do that many, but I felt pretty good, and we hit a lot, so it was a lot of fun. Week 7 going here. First one, I'm looking at a Puka bounce back. He's really just had the one bad week this last week, and everything's kind of dropped down. So I'm going to take his over 59.5 receiving yards, minus 115. So I think that's going to be great. They're going to focus a little bit on Cup, and I think Puka is going to be just fine. Wandale Robinson, I'm going to look at his receptions. He's got a good matchup. There's no lines out yet, just obviously with like the Daniel Jones injury. So those aren't up yet. I might look at some Ayuk overs as well. Also not up, Debo and CMC and a Monday night game. So those usually don't go up until Saturday or potentially Sunday, especially with injury news. Patriots tight ends, I make a living out of fading tight ends and pretty much betting unders because they just don't have as much route participation, and especially when they have 2. The Patriots have 2, Hunter Henry and Gesicki. So I'm fading both of them. I'm going to look at their unders for plus money. Bills have the 3rd best tight end defense in the league. Still no lines out again yet just because of injuries. One tight end that is out that I am fading again is Tyler Higbee. I'm going to take the under 2.5 receptions for plus 140. So you're going to get plus money at that. It's no coincidence he's went under this the last 2 games with cutback, plus now add Puka's target share into the mix, and Pitt's a top 5 tight end defense this year. So I'm going to gamble a little bit, and I'm going to take the under 2.5 with Tyler Higbee. On the other side of it, let's stick with the tight ends. I'm going to go with Travis Kelce over 6.5 receptions at minus 115. The yardage is there. The touchdowns haven't quite been there, but the targets have been absolutely plentiful. And the Chargers are giving up the most passing yards per game in the NFL at 289 yards per game this year, and Kelce's getting a lot of those. So I'm going to take the over 6.5 receptions. Last one I'm taking, a little bit contrary to what we talked about earlier, but we talked about Baltimore as a phenomenal defense, but Goff's still going to have to sling it to keep them in the game. So I'm going to go with the Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 155. So I really like that. I figured it should be closer to like plus 120, honestly. Essentially about a 40% shot. Plus 155 says it's going off at like a 39% shot or something like that. And I think it's more plentiful than that. Tough matchup with Baltimore. No Monty. I don't think they're going to sit there and pound the rock with Craig Reynolds and Gibbs. Time of possession is the main thing that worries, like we talked about, Baltimore with the running skills. So instead of taking completions or yardage from him, I'm just going to go with the kind of juicier plus 155. When they get in close, they're going to throw it instead of running it in. So give me the Jared Goff over 1.5 touchdown passes for my last one.
I like that one a lot. I think it's very likely he gets at least once, and then it's just a coin flip. And
yeah, he's gotten 2+ in 5 out of 6 weeks. So.
Almost, yeah. I was going to say only 1 week he didn't. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. All right, moving into my DFS targets. Wrapping up last week, I was in the top 5 again, so at least solid there. I was 15 points off first, I believe, if I did that math right. Wins on the week, I had Mostert for like every week ever that I can put him in. Can't put him in this week, so I'm sad. But I had him for 37 points, and I had Kamara for 17, banking on continued receptions. I put the stat in our group message, but he's got more receptions than any other running back by at least 5, and he missed the first half of the season. So yeah, good PPR option. And then Adam Thielen I had for 31. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Tyler had at least 2, if not all 3 of the same ones, because I saw our teams activate. And I went, match. Fuck. So everybody good, I matched. Everybody bad, I didn't match. Losses, I had Burrow for 14.8. Not great, not bad, but not what you want when you're paying for Burrow. Same thing, Jamar, 14. Solid for a receiver, not for when I'm paying him as my most expensive guy of the week. And then Logan Thomas, off the back of 2 pretty solid games, he got 1.2. So that was very disappointing. For mine, technically the lineups are out, so I have my lineup set, but rather than just listing who I'm doing every week, because I don't want somebody to copy my exact same lineup with the high expensive guys, and you all know if I say, hey, you should start Jamar Chase this week, yeah, he's probably good. So I'm switching this segment a little bit more to just the budget options, so to speak. So like if you've got your guys at running back, who's a wide receiver you can play and plug in to save some money. So I'm targeting under 6,500 options for all of these, and I'll just kind of try to give you some of my favorites of the week. every single person on this list has been in my lineup at one point this week, and I've changed about 27 times. So some may still be, some are definitely not, but at least then it gives you some of my picks without giving you my entire team. So on the week, quarterbacks that I really like, Tyler's swimming upstream option, Sam Howell, 5,500 versus the Giants. A little scary, but the last 3 weeks he's really been coming on. He does have that rushing baseline, so for that cheap, it allows me to go some other places. If you want to go a little bit higher and a little bit more safety, Geno Smith, only 6,000. He has struggled more this year, but I expect it to be a little bit better this week against the Cardinals. They can't stop anybody. They're 30th to quarterbacks giving up points, so I think for only 6,000, it seems like a pretty safe, high floor type of guy. Excuse me. For running backs, a couple of options that I liked this week. Isaiah Pacheco, 6,100 versus the Chargers. They're very bad against running backs, so I expect it to be a high-scoring game, and he's clearly the only one getting all the work. I think they're going to use him a lot, and it could be a couple of touchdown scoring chances. And then James Cook, 6,300. They're going against the Patriots, who also can't stop anybody. I expect the Bills to be up early, so if they actually use James Cook, give him a little bit more volume, this could be interesting. Plus, they use him in the receiving game decently, so I like those as kind of just like right underneath the benchmark. And then 3 really gross wide receiver picks, but Curtis Samuel, 4,000 if you want to go for that Sam Howell stack. Again, going against the Giants, he's actually out-targeting and outperforming Jahan Dotson, and he's been right with Terry McLaurin, which is crazy. So almost every single week, I think 5 out of 6 weeks, he's either out-targeted or had more receptions than Terry McLaurin, which is kind of flying under the radar. So $4,000 is very, very cheap for a gross hold your breath kind of stack. Rashee Rice, only 4,800 versus the Chargers in that same high scoring game of the week. Somehow the rookie is becoming like the number 1 target. He's still not a number 1 target, but he's the number 1 receiver target for the Chiefs. So if you're going to go with somebody in a high scoring game that has a chance to catch a touchdown here or there, I like him. And then my cheapest one of the week, Wan'Dale Robinson, 3,800 in that same Washington Commanders versus Giants game. So Wan'Dale, don't love it, but if you're trying to save some money, I think he's a lot better than a lot of the 4,000 to 4,500 options. Lastly, probably my grossest pick of the week, but if you're really trying to save a tight end, really unless you're buying Kelsey or Laporta, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Laporta's coming into the week who's as questionable, and he's playing the Ravens like we talked about, so I kind of just decided to punt the position with this pick, but Michael Mayer, 2,700 for the Raiders. He has steadily been increasing in like everything we talked about, routes run, target percentage, all that kind of stuff. They're playing the Bears. That's the biggest thing. If he was playing against a middle-of-the-road defense, I would get it, but I could see this being a game where like they have a chance to be up by 10 points, like a 2-score thing, and they try to get the rookie involved more on a bad defense just to see what they have. So expect him to start to get more involved early. He'll probably cut into Jacoby's share, and obviously Devontae's going to bounce back from what he has done, but Michael Mayer could be a dart throw for a solid week. Lastly, Browns for the defense, 3,300, not too expensive. They're playing the Colts, who already aren't a fast pace of play team, and now they have Gardner Minshew, who 2 weeks ago turned the ball over 4 times in the game. So like that with a stifling Browns defense that's made a lot of good teams look bad.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I like it. Yeah. One thing to look at just for Michael Mayer is Jimmy G did get ruled out. So I'm going to have to go back and look at the stats with what that looked like with Aiden O'Connell under center. But one of the big things I'm going to see is Devontae is going to get fed this week. If you didn't hear, did you hear his comments?
Yeah, he did. He did the same Jamar Chase thing of like the post game, like this is BS, give me the ball kind of thing. Like the
and even as like
wins and losses,
right? I'm like that is a tough look. I mean, I get it, like right. I'm like so my man's gonna have 7 receptions by halftime.
I was trying to find a way to get him into my lineup this week. Spoiler alert: Devontae's not in it. For those of you that have him in, you can beat me by that, but I wanted to get him in, but I just couldn't justify doing it, and I really, really like the rest of my team this week. I made a couple of gross cheap picks to get some solid guys that I'm really high on, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing. It's just been stack punting like I did. I pivoted last week against most others, and I think I did Stafford in Cup, so not super punt, but I'm like, and then weeks before we've done Dobbs and Hollywood. It's like it's a great way to do it. If essentially that combo hooks up one time, they pay for themselves, and then you just got absolute monsters in the rest of your lineup.
Or you do it like last week where I went big for Burrow and Jamar, and they had a touchdown
and then they did terrible
in the first quarter, and then didn't. So I was like, got the alert, and I go, let's fucking go. I got this down. If I get like 2 to 3 touchdowns or a big week, this is done.
Yeah, it's over. And he said, I don't want to play no more. I'm tired.
Spoiler alert, I won't tell you guys who, but this is the first week 7, out of the every week in this season so far, that I am not stacking. And it just kind of worked out based on I had a stack planned, and then I had more money left over than I thought. So I go, well, let me take this low receiver and just turn it into this guy that I really like. So we'll see if it's a good or a bad move, but I'm just trying to stay in second place at least. So, all right. We are now moving into the weekly draft of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Redundant. 2 weeks ago's results, we had best fictional baseball players. Long story short, summarizing that, Tyler won that one as expected. We had a few fun comments that I'll shout out every week, but Connor, he suggested we should have picked the IM12 guy from the Benchwarmers.
That's right. That's funny.
Insane pitcher. Look at all those albinos.
Mm-hmm.
He was a beast. Joe, another guy that follows the show, said that Pablo Sanchez carries. He is the secret weapon after all, so he should have carried the team. Didn't pan out for me, but that's what I was going with. And then lastly, I underestimated all of the girls coming in with their votes for Benny the Jet. I didn't think that many votes would be from the female audience, and I need to start taking that into account more. So Tyler won probably with Benny the Jet alone.
Probably.
Brings season 2 totals up to 2 for me and 1 for him, so much closer here. We're gonna see if Tyler can even it up this week, or if I can get back to a commanding lead. So for those of you that don't remember from a week and a half ago, this week's topic is best duos, and I haven't touched it since the day after our episode when I put it on my list.
Me neither.
I had 10 then, and I don't remember what's on my list right now, but Tyler has the first pick, so I'm pretty sure we both said what you were going to do first. I don't know if you're sticking with that or not, if you've come up with other ideas.
I didn't really come up with much of any other ideas because until I looked at the notes, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's best duos." I kind of forgot what it was.
And for those of you listening to it, it's very just like whatever that means to you. If you want to go like foods,
whatever it is,
meals. If you want to go people, actors, sports,
do
it, whatever. Like just when you think duos, our teams are going to be a mishmash of different categories. So
yeah, for sure. So there's 2 that obviously initially popped into my mind, and so you can have the other one.
I know the
one.
I don't know if the other one was our same, but
yeah, I don't remember either. But I think I got to take the staple. I think I got to take the milk and cookies. I think I got to start there.
Oh, that's the one you're going with. Oh,
yeah, yep.
Okay.
I strongly considered the other one, but I'm like, some people don't like. I'm sure you're going to pick it, so I'm sure I can say it. But
easily. But, these are the 1A and 1B.
These are the 2, and I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. So I'll take milk and cookies, and then I'll let you say what I considered as my obvious other one.
Yeah, the other obvious pick is peanut butter and jelly. For those of you that don't know, it's a combo that if we weren't from this planet and you had to try to explain it to aliens, they would be like, those are completely different things. Why would those go together? But they do.
Right? They just do.
We all grew up on it. We all know that they're amazing. It just fits for whatever reason. You think combos. So
some people just don't like peanut butter. I've heard that, and I said that I'm like, that's like one of the best duo. I bet you, Jack, between me and you, I can't even guess the number of peanut butter and jellies that we've had. Like I had 4 over the weekend. Like Easton eats at least one Uncrustable every single day, and when I say every single day, I mean every single day. So my man loves some PB&Js. Savannah does as well.
The problem is, though, if there's cookies in the house and you know how much I drink milk, the cookies are gone. That's also a problem.
Correct. I was like, more people like milk and cookies, I think, than like peanut butter and jelly.
Agree. And this is the other thing, is not to digress into our like analysis of the draft that's goofy, but I'm very curious whether people are going to vote for like which things I like more or which things are better duos. Because to me, milk and cookies I like much more, but to me, peanut butter and jelly is a better duo. So I don't know how people are going to think of it. We're gonna see. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I have 2 different categories. It's either all foods or it's all people and characters. So I don't really know where to go from this.
I don't either.
I am gonna stay in the flames with the food category because there's a lot more other people.
Stay here,
and
Jack.
I think I have so many that it's not going to matter what I pick because I don't know how I'd even rank them. So I'm going to stay with food, and I'm going to go another classic, both because it's great and it's a staple of its meal, but also because people say it as like a duo all the time. And I'm going with bacon and eggs, the superior breakfast meal. That's classic. So I got my core lunch meal and I got my core breakfast meal. So
you did. You're good. You get 2, right?
That was PB&J and then bacon and eggs. So it's back to
Oh,
you.
yeah, duh. Okay. I'm an idiot. All right, moving on.
So this is now where I don't know what's going to go.
I
That
don't
was
know.
my top 3, and then beyond that,
This one, yeah, I didn't know where to go from here, and I looked at a lot of duos. I looked at a lot of foods and things. I looked at a lot of characters. No, this is what I did like shortly after we're done, and I was just kind of thinking through. I'm like, who are some of the best ones? I have such a list that we're going to run through after this. I bet you I've got 20 on here.
Yep. Yeah. I do too.
But
20 on the bet. Cool.
The best duo that I could think of. Characters. It's going to resonate. It's going to resonate with everybody. But give me some Chandler and JoJo.
Yeah.
Give me some Chandler and Joey.
I had that on there just for us because we're both obsessed with Friends, but I also was like, I don't know if that's going to be my first character pick because, like,
there's so
Friends
many,
is iconic, but so many other people like know these other ones that, they're the best. Again, they're the best duo.
They're the
together.
best duo. Period.
But are they like? Well, it's the peanut butter and jelly and
yep, it is.
So anyway, continue.
I really don't know where I'm going to go with these next ones, and there's going to be so many that we aren't able to pick that it's going to be bad. But I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna pull it back even a little bit, and we're gonna switch genres, and we're gonna go over to the sporting world.
Okay.
And I'm going to take, and this might not be as popular, but I'm going to take Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Agreed. That's a solid, easy one. I want to make a quick addendum that I don't know why I didn't ask before, but since we both have 20, do you want to just do it 6 rounds instead of 4?
No.
Yeah.
No. Because then I have to pick and think through, and I'm like, I'm here.
Oh, man, I thought it would be fun to do, but whatever. All right.
It might be.
Both of them were definitely on my list, obviously. So I'm gonna just take those out before I draft them myself and pull a Wes Welker situation because I don't want to do that. I am gonna follow your lead for sure with the TV characters combo, and then I know.
I already missed one, and I should have taken them sooner.
Okay.
I don't think you would have taken Kobe and Shaq. Maybe you would have.
They're one of my like 2 or 3 from the sports world. But okay. That's the other thing is I'm like, how many of our audience that
if this one gets back to me, I win. But I don't think it's going to.
I have 2 like characters.
You get 2 picks.
I know, but I wasn't.
Oh yeah, I suppose you got to differentiate a little bit.
Yeah, well, because I've got just food and food so far. So
that's true.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one of the 2. God, I want to do 6. I have so many I love.
I know. I'm gonna shorten you because I feel like I'm winning.
That's fair. I will go with another similar to PB&J where we all just grew up with this couple.
Mm-hmm. This is it.
Boys and girls all watch this show. I think you're thinking of the second option I have, and I'm going with the first one. But I'm going with the lovable duo of Scooby and Shaggy.
That was it.
Okay.
100%.
That is my first one.
That was the one I missed because I should have taken them before Shaq and Kobe.
I thought you were going to take them before Chandler and Joey, even just because it was like a kids thing. Like
they were. No, I'm not going to lie. Katie was a was Scooby in the gang and everything like that. I never really watched it.
I did, but I wasn't like hardcore. But I just think them as a duo were just so.
I love them. That is going to get you a lot of points. I promise you that because it should have been there. But I'm hoping the Chan and Joey get me there.
Dialing it back to my fun fact of the week, binging the Scream movies. Watching Scream 1 with Matthew Lillard in it as like a key role that I won't spoil if people haven't seen. The statute of limitations is out. It's 20 years old.
Yeah, come on.
With Matthew Lillard being one of the killers and playing in a psychotic role, I was like, this is insane to me.
It's weird.
What are you doing? So that's that one. And then, God. Dude, I should have ranked these before. I can't go back to food. I have too much food.
You do.
I feel like I should take a sports one, but I don't know that it's going to be like as solid because only like only our group me people are going to vote for it. So, I'm between 3, and I'm going to go with another childhood foundation one that people.
This is
love
the other one. I know it. God damn it!
I am going to go with Ash and Pikachu.
Oh, that's actually a good one. That is not one. Okay. That's actually a good one. Which is horrible. I didn't have that on my list. That's terrible. I came up with most of these off the top of my head, but I did not have that one.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one though.
big Pokemon one. That's like the
That's a good one.
dynamic duo that for fucking 20 seasons that they stayed the same age, but they butted heads, and then Ash saved Pikachu, and they were just without fail always together. So that's my fourth one. I feel strong with those last two more than I feel good about the first two.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely finished strong.
You should have
PB&J is good, but
because now you helped me.
Yep. I don't know where to go with this last one.
If you're not going to take it, what was the one you thought I was going to take? Unless you're going to take it.
That's what I mean. I was trying to decide if I'm going to take it. Because let's see here.
I'm just curious if
it's just another great. It's another great duo. I'm trying because there's so many options. Yeah. I'm going to go with it just in my heart of hearts because it's so good. It's so good. And another show that we all watched growing up. Give me some Boy Meets World. Give me Corey and Topanga.
When you say we all watched it growing up.
Well, sorry, you're 12.
I'm 30 now. Okay, I'm an adult.
Yep.
I honestly
didn't watch Boy Meets World. Are you kidding me?
No, I did not.
You're the worst.
I think
everyone he loses because of that.
I think I've seen more episodes of Girl Meets World than Boy Meets World. Like I have since gone back and watched like episodes here and there, but never once did I watch it growing up. I don't know if it was
that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I don't know if it was like
that is worse than anything you've ever not watched.
I was watching like whenever I started watching like Nickelodeon and Disney and stuff like that, I think Boy Meets World was like the previous season. And it just missed me by a hair because
I think I got a better shot with the Facebook audience here than I do in the GroupMe audience.
Really? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
We'll see.
You went the only sports ones. That's the interesting part. I think Ash and Pikachu and Scooby and Shaggy.
That is Ash and Pikachu is a good one. There are so many.
You're gonna get the love story with Corey and Topanga and all the girls.
That was my thought.
That. I don't think I have one love story group on here. I didn't even consider duos as like relationships, and that probably was a gap. So, yeah. Okay, tell me this. We're gonna break them up so we don't just both list 15.
I have so many
food items that you had on your list, and we'll just go like category to category.
The only other one I had was biscuits and gravy, just for you.
Oh, I didn't have that on there. I
love me some biscuits and gravy.
I almost took this over bacon and eggs, but I had mac and cheese.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
Because mac sucks without cheese, so that's the definition of a good duo. Yeah. I had salt and pepper and ketchup and mustard because condiments and stuff. I had meat and potatoes only because it's a phrase. I was like, oh, that's your meat and potatoes in there. And I wanted to do the breakfast, lunch, and dinner picks, but I couldn't do food. And then, I don't know if you've seen the Family Guy clip, but I had the peanut butter and chocolate for Reese's. Where the dudes. Yeah, peanut butter in my chocolate. So
I'm Officer Reese's.
So that was it for food. The only other sports ones I had, I considered LeBron and Wade because that was more like recent biased.
Yeah.
Montana and Jerry Rice, obviously, and then I thought about doing Jordan and Pippen to counter your Kobe and Shaq. But
I had Jordan and Pippen as well.
Audience is gonna be fans of the '90s Bulls. So
agreed.
Do you have any other sports ones?
No. No.
All right, you take it away with what else you had left then, because I only had a few.
Oh man, I had so many. Maverick and Goose. Mario and Luigi, Woody and Buzz, a blanket and a pillow was a good one, or my bed and a pillow. I thought about that. Jim and Pam from The Office, Sonic and Tails, Snoopy and Woodstock, Bert and Ernie, Tom and Jerry, Batman and Robin, Tarzan and Jane, Brian and Stewie, and then I had Skipper and Gilligan for the super old school people. I had a bunch. Oh, and I had Ken and Barbie as well.
That would have been good. That would have also.
I thought about that, but I'm like, I ain't doing that.
I almost went Batman and Robin over Scooby and Shaggy. That was the third of those last three I was considering because I think that's just iconic. Bert and Ernie I had, Mario and Luigi I had, and then I know you weren't into this because you miss a bunch of great movies and trilogies and stuff like that. But I had Sam
Don't even get me started. So,
okay,
that's fair.
Lord of the Rings fans
does nothing for me.
That's one of like the biggest ones because the main character the entire time, his weak best friend ended up being the one that carried him up the mountain and saved the day and blah, blah, blah. And then they would have gotten me the nerd vote out there, let me tell you. So
there you go.
But I feel much more strong with Scooby and Shaggy and Ash and Pikachu than those other ones I picked.
Yes.
So
100%. Those
So
are
rounding out our
the
teams,
correct picks.
I had PB&J, Bacon and Eggs, Scooby and Shaggy, and Ash and Pikachu, and then Tyler.
And I had Milk and Cookies, Chan and Joey from Friends, Kobe and Shaq, and then Corey and Topanga from Boy Meets World.
And then my honorable mention, I had the Victorious POD duo. Anyway.
Yeah, we didn't even make our own list. We're like, damn, these two guys suck.
Yeah, they're the fucking worst. I had Jack and Walters, actually. So
you had what?
Jack and Walters. So
yeah. Ouch.
Anyways, so next week's
retire.
Rip up the contract. I was gonna just follow it with best trios, but we'll do that shortly. I want to get this one in before the end of the season, so I made an adjustment to best Halloween season movies. And the reason I say Halloween season is because we're not just saying best horror movies; we're saying like the movies that like come on this time of the year, and you're like, oh, I love watching that. So we're gonna do those.
I do have handfuls of those, so I'm good at that.
Yes, yeah, most of them not being horror movies, but we all know the classics. That same kind of thing with Christmas movies. When the Christmas season comes along and you're like, oh, it's time to watch The Grinch for my annual viewing. So this type of vibe that you just, you get settled down in a sweater weather under the blankets and start watching some spooky season movies. So we'll bring you those next. Let us know if you have any picks of your own. We'll be back next week with that, and I'll let Tyler send us off.
All right, folks. I don't know why you're all still with us. Everybody should be sleeping. But appreciate. I know. I was like, I should be sleeping. I'm out here on the East Coast. This is brutal. Thanks everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the understanding with the week off. Things happen. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us. Like you said, we'll get some more content out there. Shout out to some of the friends of the show, Minnesota Sports. All been super supportive. We'll get on with them. They've asked us a couple times to do a couple segments with them, but again, life happens. But promise, boys, we hear you. We'll get on top. We'll get on top of it. Show, so. I know. It's great. Exactly right. ADH Dads, Game Boys. You can find us Discord, YouTube at the Victorious PODs, where you're going to find most of our stuff. Twitter at Victorious POD. But that's all I got. Jackaroo, get us out of here.
Good night. Bye.
Peace out, Pod Squad.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to the Victorious POD podcast. Follow us on YouTube at the Victorious POD.